Hey everyone, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I'm taking you with me to the Memorial Day event down in San Diego, the San Diego Auto Swap. Now, this is sort of an offshoot of an event that was a local staple called the Big Three that happened every year down at the big stadium down there. Unfortunately, that swap meet is no longer, but some smaller events have popped up to take their place, this being one of them. So this is located down deep in San Diego, down in Chula Vista at a stadium down there. And this is the first time that I've attended this event. Being a Monday event, but a Monday holiday event, I was curious to see how many people would actually show up and if there were any good treasures there to find. So I hopped in the truck, loaded up my pocket change, and rolled it on down there to do a little hunting. And I was really enjoying the day. I mean, it was definitely a great trip. This was a serious swap meet, people bringing junk from their garage. It wasn't a whole lot of new stuff and dealers that were out there selling things. It was all about people coming out, clearing out their garage, making a couple of bucks, and sharing their cars with others. It had a great feel to it. It felt a lot like swap meets of old, and it was awesome. Looking at the car show, there were some really unique rides. This one particular rat rod truck was absolute eye candy. Loved this T-bucket with the big fat tires and wheelie bars on the back. This other rat rod was an absolute standout. Big old wheels up front. Loved the big skull on the nose. I mean, this thing was really fun. It's amazing how rat rods have turned into high art. There's some really neat stuff going on with them. Neat little fun details. It's all about having a good time and getting a smile on your face. You know, these are all about function. Or not about function, but more about fashion. Check out that steering wheel. I'd hate to bash my head on that thing, but it sure would be fun to grip it and roll down the road. Of course, there's VWs everywhere, and I always seem to find them no matter what parking lot I'm in. Cool F-100 truck, Mustang, some hot rods and stuff as well. Interesting paint job on this early Barracuda. Loved this work in progress here. This thing was a really neat looking laid out car. Looks like it was an Olds grill on maybe a Buick. I don't know exactly what that car started out as, but it's turning into something special. Looks like a supercharger on that Mustang, a cool piece to see. Some good lowrider style stuff out there. You know, obviously down in San Diego with a heavy Latin influence. There were actually some cars that had come up from Tijuana, lowrider clubs from down there. And it's awesome to see those cars. I have the greatest respect for that scene, for the creativity and the artistry that goes into the build of a lot of those cars. Definitely a nice arrangement of the San Diego air-cooled VW Club cars. This old Chevy truck here with cool vintage-looking logos on it was really neat. I'm sure that was all faked, but it looked fantastic. Definitely a fun machine. Pinsgauer, it looks like here. Kind of an odd man out in the parking lot for sure. Some great old trucks, some really cool old Chevys. Definitely love seeing that. Now, this thing was insane. This is a Gremlin drag car, big old, big block injected motor in there, full cage, slicks. Check this thing out. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts. Total 80s looking custom here. This thing was for sale, $22,500. Beautifully done car, albeit a bit dated. I don't know if that style is going to come back, but if it does, that car was a beautiful survivor and I think very well priced. Always loved the 59 and 60 Chevy Impalas and El Caminos. Nothing cooler than those tail fins, and seeing that pair together was super cool. The cars were rolling in and out all day. It was kind of fun to see those. I always loved the old bombs like that particular one back there. That Chevy was awesome. This was a white Yellowstone tour bus. Really bizarre to see that down in San Diego, and especially with some of the mild customs touches that it had. Somebody had taken that car from an absolute scrap heap and turned it into a fun cruiser, and they were definitely cruising and having a good time with it here. Love the Riviera, cool Impala, lots of chrome on a lot of these cars. Definitely well-loved, well-detailed, and well-presented vehicles. Some projects out in the swap meet for sale for those that didn't have something to work on. They certainly could pick something up. Of course, the wagon game was strong. Everybody builds their own crazy wagon to haul their junk around and their cooler full of beer. This car was super interesting. This is a really rare Hupp Skylark. So Hupp took over the stampings and stuff from Cord after they closed down and did a small production of these particular cars. This thing was really pretty rough, but it was all there as far as the body, and I think you could make a really cool hot rod out of that, and the guy wasn't asking the world for it. I was kind of tempted, but I need another project like that, like I need a hole in the head, so I wisely refused to make the man an offer. Hubcaps lined up, lots of neat treasures out in the swap meet. Definitely enjoyed the walk around, and I found a couple of treasures to bring home. This was super interesting. It's not often you see an early 30s car done lowrider style, airbrush graphics on it, the Amigos Car Club. Definitely super cool. Loved the deer hoof out the window of this panel truck. Definitely a cool thing, made me laugh. Some interesting treasures on the tables here and on the swap meet grounds. So what was I looking for? Well, nothing in particular. I've got pretty much all I need, but I did find this. This is a Cavaliers club license plate that's going to go directly on my 29 Ford that was actually built by the Cavaliers Car Club. So I was blown away with the chance to find that thing out there in the swap meet, and I absolutely couldn't leave it there. So I paid up, took it home, and it's on the car now. Gorgeous long bed Chevy here. This thing was really well detailed. Cool Corvette. Vets are always fun. Cute little dogs walking around. That guy was totally awesome. And in any case, let's see. We're coming here close to the end. Some more lineup of Chevys and stuff. I suppose I could, instead of talking through this, put up some sort of cheesy music that you would all complain about. But I'm going to go ahead and narrate as I fly. I love seeing the creativity of what people are doing with these different cars. It's definitely fun to see that white tour bus, revived from absolute dead. Look at what he started with. Man, talk about a heroic restoration. Now, granted, it wasn't done showroom stock, but who cares? That thing is on the road and out of the woods where it sat for so long. Tranquilos San Diego Club. Always love seeing the club plaques in there. It is all about family when it comes to those groups, and those guys are having a really good time. Oldies Car Club from Tijuana came out. Some really cool rides showing up there. The location being close to the border made that a very local thing for these guys to roll into. This young guy that rolled in this 56 Ford, I think that's his car, and if it is, I was thrilled to see a young man driving a traditional-looking hot rod. Cool. VW selection. Again, I always like seeing the VWs out there playing. This wild motor in this Ghia was something else. The interior was fantastic. Super neat details. Check out the chassis work on this truck. Not so good for going to the dump, but good for dumping it on its nuts when you pull up at a car show like that. A Lamborghini? Well, it was definitely an odd man out, but sitting off to the side, and somebody was rolling in style. Monte Carlo, drop down low, looking super cool. Rivieras are always a favorite of mine. I've had a couple of those over the years. Love that. Not so big on those crazy lugs on that dually, but, you do you. Suicide doors on this Cowlooker convertible Beetle. No monkeying around here when it comes to San Diego Car Crew. The swap meet was a blast to go check it out. So keep your eyes open for further events from the San Diego Auto Swap. It was definitely worth going and checking out, and I found some fun stuff to bring on home to add to my collection. Final shot here will be the final item that I grabbed. This is a French St. Christopher medal that I'm going to put on one of my machines.